Hello and welcome back to another episode of Delusional Chaos, the podcast where I break down the messy and wonderful layers of life. And today's episode is called Oil Saga, and I just want to break down what happened to me a couple months ago, and it's crazy. I just want to excuse this spot, it's going to be annoying me throughout this whole video, but yeah, just wanted to break down this little story that I have from a really traumatic time that I had a couple months ago, and I just kind of want to talk about it so that it's out in the open and I can forget about it. But let me just get started with my story about the oil saga. So I will be telling my story today from my perspective, but I won't be talking about anyone who's actually involved because I don't think it's necessary to involve their identities. But yeah, that's just how it is. And it all began back in June when the first instance was somebody was putting oil, like cooking oil, in one of my coffee cups, and it was only one of them, and I thought I was going insane and I didn't really understand what was going on at first, but then I soon realized that it was oil just because of the way that it was acting. And so then after that happened, it got put in all of my kitchen stuff, so cutlery, anything I had in the kitchen. So like all the stuff I had was kind of like cups and stuff, and like bowls and stuff that I was leaving to soak, all of it had oil in, and like juice, like things like that. So like just anything in the kitchen, they then put stuff into that. And then because I complained about it and, you know, made people aware, I then had it happen by spiraling into the stuff in the fridge. So it was stuff like anything that was liquid, so like milk, waters, like anything that I had brought myself which was liquid, then had oil in it, and I didn't really understand what was going on, but I, you know, had to deal with it, and I was very confused, really upset, and I was going through a difficult time already with my mental health, so it really just upset me. And I'm quite a person that takes things quite personally, like I can be a bit sensitive, and I definitely took that on purpose, like, you know, to heart, because why would you not? Like every day I was coming home from work and there was new oil in my stuff, and like there's not much I can do about that to avoid it, because I'm going to work and then I'm coming home and my stuff's all ruined. And I made the landlord aware of this when things started to escalate, and it really started to affect me, and it triggered a lot of my anxiety because I was just coming home constantly to oil in my stuff. I started to isolate myself more and more from the house and the housemates and my general routine. If I keep looking down, I'm just kind of looking at my notes that I wrote in so I can help, you know, remind myself. And it progressively got more and more confusing the more me and the landlord addressed the situation. So it was kind of hard to like pinpoint who it was, what time, like who was in the house at each time, and it just kept on getting more and more confusing. Like more people just started acting suspicious, and we were like, is it all of you? Like we were just so confused. And then it got to a point where every liquid in my room had oil in it, so shampoo, any soaps, makeup, like literally anything that you can think of that was liquid, I had oil in it, like nail varnish, like little things like that. And I'm such a person that loves to keep like little things. Just a girl, and I keep, you know, lots of spare makeup and lots of spare shampoos, body lotions, like little things like that. All of that I had to throw away. I think I brought at least 30 bottles of washing up liquid, and every single time, you know, that would get oil in it. And you know, it really did affect me because I couldn't wash dishes, I couldn't have a shower without buying new stuff, or like eating meals. I literally couldn't do anything in the house without oil being put in it. And it was a major turning point for me, like having every single thing in my room have oil in it. Like, it was in my water bottle, like, that I took to work with me. It was literally in every single thing, and this completely broke me because it completely emotionally crushed me, and I felt on edge constantly. I wasn't eating properly, I wasn't drinking properly, I wasn't sleeping properly. I literally felt so unsafe in my own home that I would go out from the moment I woke up until I went to work, and then I come home from work, I'd come back to the house, quickly get changed, and then I'd be straight out. And like, if I had a shower, I would either have to check all my stuff, or I would just think, oh my god, I don't even care if I'm washing in oil at this rate. And even in like all my cleaning products, obviously I couldn't clean anything really because it all had oil in it. And yeah, I basically really struggled to even go to sleep in the house because I was just so scared that anything was going to happen, because I was like the one out of two girls, or one out of three girls in the house, and there were 7 of us, and the rest were boys, and all the boys were just really like, I don't know, slightly creepy, and just, they were not, cute. And I basically really struggled to sleep at that time because I was just so scared that they were going to come into my room and do something whilst I was asleep. So I had to start putting a wedge underneath my door, and I was slowly deteriorating physically. I was losing loads of weight, I was losing hair, and I was feeling weak and in pain. And I think all of that was just like physical, physical pains in my body, physical just issues, as well as all the mental torture that I went through. It was just like constant mind games, and obviously I couldn't really eat because I didn't have a choice, or like if I did want to eat, then I couldn't really because I didn't have anything to wash anything up with, or like little things like that. Like even a fork, like it was hard to even get like a clean fork. So yeah, it really messed up my routine. It completely just messed up me as a person. And I'm gonna go back to our notes. So to regain some kind of control, I was just obviously going out, sitting by myself until it was time to go to bed. And it was really hard to keep going because I didn't really see an end to it. No one wanted to admit to it. Nobody wanted to do anything about it really. The landlord was going to put in a camera when he was on after he came back from holiday. And then he was also going to have a meeting with us, which didn't actually happen. Because nobody could come up with a time which was agreeable, and I didn't really want to go and sit in that meeting in the first place because it just was not cute. And then I slowly started introducing food back into my routine, and it was really difficult to find the motivation to go to the shop, get food for myself for every single meal of the day, because when you don't have that problem of somebody putting oil in all your stuff to stop you from doing all this stuff, you don't realize how much like being at home and little things matter. So my routine is I have a cup of tea in the morning and I have my breakfast. So obviously involving that, it's normally tea bag, sugar, milk might have oil in it, cup might have oil in it. And then I go to have breakfast, so I want, I don't know, a yogurt and something I don't know, you get the point that I'm trying to make, is the fact that I basically could not do anything without potentially having oil in that. And I know oil's probably not the most dangerous thing to consume, but having that amount of, like, it was months and months of that, and I just think I shouldn't have been having that in my diet, obviously. And yeah, it was a really difficult time to go through, because although, like, I do love my work, and, you know, it's been a job that I, you know, have been in for a couple years, I don't necessarily want to be there all the time, which I think is pretty natural. But work really felt like a safe space for me, because I could have fresh water, I could eat meals without knowing that it didn't have oil in it. Like, I could do so many things which didn't actually have oil in it, and I was like, it felt like a blessing to just be able to, like, eat and do anything. And, like, I could leave a cup on the side and I could come back to it and it wouldn't have oil in it. It was just like so many little things, and like I didn't have to just worry, and work really became like a safe haven for me, because I thought, like, wow, like, there's people here that know me and they're nice to me and they make me laugh, and then I've got my customers who I love, but I've also got, you know, the freedom to be able to eat and drink properly. And it's not like I didn't have that freedom at home, but obviously it was really, really hard if I wanted to even attempt to eat or attempt to drink. And I tried so many different ways to get around this. I continued to work on myself now that I could begin to take control again, and I really wanted to take my control back, mainly mentally for myself. And I knew that I needed to detach from the situation, because it had been going on for months at this point and it was really affecting me, and I knew, like, the only way that I can cope with this if I just detach. And it had been really traumatizing for me, and I knew that I deserved better, so I decided to put myself first and try and not let this whole thing, even though it was so life consuming, I didn't want to let it bring me down, because I've been through so much and I've worked so hard on myself, and I was like, I'm not letting this be the thing that, like, ruins me. But as I began to detach, I received an email from the landlord saying that he was kicking everyone out. And immediately when I read that, I felt relieved, because although I was never going to really find out who it actually was, and I obviously was getting kicked out, it wasn't exactly the best of feelings, because I was obviously getting kicked out. And although I was never going to find out who it was, the silver lining was that whoever it was is getting kicked out, and I thought, this is going to be the reason why they stop. Like, they're going to think, oh, we're all getting kicked out, what's the point in carrying on this silly, pathetic thing, which I feel like any normal person would have probably stopped. I mean, they probably wouldn't be doing this anyway, but, like, if it was some stupid pet, or if it was like some petty revenge, you would think, like, this would be the thing that would make somebody stop. And I was wrong, because it still continued to happen after, and right up until the day that I left, pretty much, which was so great. And yeah, it really did break me, because I did everything in my power to avoid the stress and avoid the upset, yet they still found a way to get to me. And I decided, finally, I'm gonna get a camera. And the only issue was I didn't want the camera watching me all the time, so I would turn it off when I was there, and I would turn it on and off, and sometimes I'd forget to turn it back on again. So then there was just so many little ways which this person still got around and still managed to do it, even with a camera in my room. And I think they must have known that the camera was there as well. And I also would lock up my stuff, I would zip up all my stuff, I would hide it in different spaces. Like, I tried absolutely everything. I thought I was the smartest person. I was like, surely they're not gonna get this, like they're not gonna know how to get into this, or they're not gonna know. Like, there was obviously little ways which you could, but I thought, really, like, they're not gonna have the effort to do all of this just to like get me down. But no, they still did. And yeah, I'm smiling about this, and I'm trying to make a joke out of it, because I really don't know like how else to deal with it. Because yeah, I think I'm just so used to not the best things happening to me, and I just think it is what it is. And yeah, that's just why I am trying to make light of it, even though it really was a difficult time for me. Like, I really struggled. I really was not doing well, and I lost a lot of weight, and I think now my body's kind of having effects from that. But after I got the email, I obviously had to start looking for somewhere else. And within weeks of hopelessly searching for a place, I managed to find a place, because, you know, I wanted to make sure that I was looking for the right thing. And I arranged a viewing, and the day that I went to the viewing, I was so excited, because I was like, oh my god, I'm finally getting freedom. Like, this is it, this is the one for me. And when I went to the viewing, I was really excited. I was like, oh my god, yes. I was so excited to go to my viewing, and I was so excited to just be able to get this freedom. When I went and looked around, it was fine, you know, it was nice, but I didn't feel that safety that I wanted to feel walking into my place. And I just knew deep down that it wasn't for me. And it was kind of like a similar house to the old one. Like, it was like in a house, and you didn't have like locks on the doors and stuff. And I just thought, like, no, like the same thing's gonna happen. And I just wanted to make sure that the next place that I was moving into felt right for me. And that's because I wasn't just looking for a place to stay. I was looking for a place that I felt safe. And a couple days later, after I'd rejected the other place, whilst I was at work, I received a text from an ad of a place that I had applied for. And I told her I'd give her a call back after work. I told her that I'd give her a call back after work. Once I'd finished work and I'd sorted everything out, I decided, right, I'm gonna give her a call. And she didn't answer, but she texted me saying, you know, I'm gonna text you or call you back in about 15 minutes. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. So she called me back, and she let me know that the place that I had applied for had been seen that day, and they had taken it immediately. And, you know, I took the news well, because she seemed like a lovely lady, and I wasn't that set on it. I'm just trying to find a place, you know, that is suitable for me. And once we had continued to chat a little bit more, she seemed to like me back, and she told me that she had something else lined up, and it wasn't going to be available until a bit later, but she had something else which she could send me over and like create a private listing, and I could be the first person to see it, sort of thing. And I was the only person that was set up to see this, because she really wanted to give it to me, because obviously she let me down with the other one. And when she was explaining it, I was like, okay, like, it seems decent, I'll come and give it like a little look. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, but I was like, I'll just give it a little look, what's the harm in looking? And when I told my grandma about it and where it was, she was really shocked because she was like, oh my god, that's the first place that I had my first bed sit. And I was proper freaked out, but I was like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like, I'll be living in the same place that my grandma lived in. Stay, love that. And then it made me a bit more excited to view it, because I was like, oh my god, this is the place that my grandma started hers, and she's got her own house now, and she's lived a very nice long life. And yeah, it just made me feel so much more excited to go and view it. So on the day of the viewing, I arrived there and I was greeted by the lady, and she was super nice, and she just showed me around. And when I went into the house, I instantly felt safe, and when I was talking to her, she just made me feel so relaxed, and just, we truly got on a house on fire. And she was just showing me around, and I got to meet the girl that had currently lived in the room, and I just knew that this was going to be my place, and I knew that it felt right. And yeah, that's why I decided after 2.5 hours of speaking to her, like, viewings normally, I don't know, go on for half an hour most, but I had never spoken to somebody for this long about a house before. And yeah, we just really got along, and I was, you know, deciding to take it after that. And it was just so nice to finally be getting my exit from this traumatic experience. And the last month was really hard for me. I knew that I wasn't myself. I was just in survival mode, and I tried to keep things pushing, tried to balance it all, and it truly wasn't easy. But the slightest hope that this next place would bring me peace is the only thing that kept me going, plus like my friends and everyone supporting me through it. But moving away and driving away from that house and knowing that I'd never have to go back again was the best feeling. I had been waiting for genuinely like 4 months to be able to have that day come, and when it actually came, the physical release that I had, I did not know what to do with myself. And I have learnt so much from that house and the whole situation about the evilness of humanity and what it takes to be resilient, what truly mattered, and so much more. But to end off today's podcast, I'd like to update you with how I'm doing now, a month after being free, and I genuinely am in the best place. I am doing so much better physically, mentally, like just all together. I'm just doing so much better, and I am probably the strongest version of myself that I've ever been. And I'm extremely grateful for everything that I do have and all the people that helped me through it. And I am just really grateful to finally be free. But one day I would love to help other people going through the same thing. I think it's really important to understand that everybody deserves a safe space to live in, and I hope that one day I can make a difference to people. But my closing question for today, as that's the end of the story, if you have any questions about it, I would love to answer them in the comment section below. But my final closing question for today is, what can we do to ensure that everybody has a safe space? And that is the end to the 5th episode of Delusional Chaos. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section below, and remember, you can like and subscribe for more content just like this. Until then, stay delusional, embrace the chaos, and I'll see you again for the next episode. Love you, bye.